Hello, everyone in the chat. Welcome. Hello. We've got a very unique stream for you today. Welcome to everyone. It's great to see all of you people turning out. Looks like this is something that gains a lot of interest. This sort of thing. So hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me just switch to Bossa Nova and arrange a few things on the stream in a second here. Technical stuff. Hold on. Hello. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting right there, Piechucker. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Isn't it Wednesday for you? Or
It's Monday for you.
it's Monday.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, it's so confusing. It's Tuesday for you.
Have you just woken up? My
No, well, maybe spiritually I have. I don't know.
God. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, so we're in for a comfy chatting stream today. It was just confusing because I thought by saying Happy Tuesday or whatever, you were saying it to me to appeal to my day.
I'm not that considerate, no.
No,
It
he's...
revolves around me.
The world does revolve around us both, and everyone in the chat as well. All of us. No,
So we're thinking it's going to be Europa Universalis 5.
no.
Is that what we're saying?
Well, okay, well, first of all, intro, this is a stream where we're going to cover Paradox's, a big announcement stream that they've hyped up. And the tagline that I just came up with as I was making the announcements and stuff was, Paradox are really hyping this up, and our job is to hype it back down.
Yeah, keep it real.
Keep it real. Nah, I don't mean it in a way where we're sort of insulting them and trying to bring them down. I just mean, you just said it, keeping it real. Balance.
Let's keep it real.
Someone in the chat said balance. Perfect. Yes, that's all we're doing.
I mean, when's the last time they've made a good game? Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe that's not. Maybe. Oh, whoopsies. Maybe that's not keeping it real. Well, maybe it is.
So
When keeping it real goes wrong.
yeah, we're here to do live reaction and analysis and dissecting Paradox's announcement stream, where they're announcing various things, DLCs, potential games, and well, I've got their stream up here. Let me just show you. It actually starts in about 25 minutes, but I wanted to get going early, nice and early, to get some, get the chat going, get everyone in, get everything in advance, and get ready and have some banter and chat and analysis before. So I've got their stream up. That's it. As you can see, 24 minutes. Midnight, thank you for the... No, not Midnight. I saw an anime profile picture that was pink, and I was just like talking to Midnight in the Discord, and I thought it was Midnight. They're all the same, these anime PFPs. Thanks, Palaya, for your channel membership. The channel membership has obviously gone down since I moved back to streaming most of the stuff on Twitch, but some people like to keep it, and I think it still does give plenty benefits, so I still advertise it as a thing that people can do to support the channel. And you obviously get benefits here on these streams that I do on YouTube, which are discussion streams and chatting. I've kept that on YouTube and moved games to Twitch, and it's a nice mix. So yeah, that timer is on there right now. In 24 or so minutes we'll check back in, obviously, and then we'll keep it there and react. It's really bright, so when I turn that thingy off there, then we go back down to a nice chilled.
Yes, much better.
What else was I going to say? Well, we're actually going to start talking like in a few minutes about what is going to be on the stream, but before that you can support the channel with the super chat. We will always appreciate those, and if we're not able to react to your super chat, read it out, reply to it at the exact time it's given, we will have a section at the end where we catch up on all of them, answer questions and so on, or at least I will. You don't have to be there for that one, but it's up to you, Piechucker. So that at the end.
I kind of love it. I enjoy it.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah, I think the people like it too. Because I mean, how many times have they heard you say on the Spud Gun official server, "Thank you very much for the membership." Thank you for the $3. is you get a bit more, mix it up for a second,
What are you talking? I was talking about like answering them at the end together.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, like you expect to hear a lovely Scottish voice. It's like, thank you, for the members. You understand what I'm saying?
You're referring to it being your voice. I thought you were like saying what I would say.
Yes, no, you've got what I've said. You understand me now.
I just sorted a few technical things for background music. So I assume I won't need my background music on when Paradox starts their stream. They'll have that covered. They'll have noise. They'll have white noise background. Well, Nis the Spear has given a super chat, and since we're still in the intro phase, we can answer and respond now. And thank you for that. That is 27.
What's Piechucker's testosterone level like? Fantastic. Honestly, like.
Oh, right.
And in the chat, like it's 5:30 in the morning, right? And you just like you get out. Like I got out of bed like maybe 12 minutes ago, and you like you have all those problems. You're like, oh, it's 5:30 in the morning. You think, oh, this is gonna be good. You hype yourself up, and then you get in, and it's like, this is why you do it. You know what I mean? For things like this. That's a completely unexpected. I couldn't have guessed that could be a question.
Well, in the early hours of the morning when you're just waking up and stuff, your voice naturally is deeper. I mean, I'm referring to everyone,
Yes.
Nis, thank you for the 27 Swedish krona. I can't remember how much that comes to. Victoria 3 War DLC. Nah, I don't think Victoria 3 is making a single mention on Paradox's stream today. This is not about that at all. But we can still talk about it ourselves.
Oh, here's a great question. Tom Vikes 41 super chat. Have you been enjoying playing some good games in your own time, Pine Spud? You play games for a living, so you don't get to play any cool games.
I do play some stuff off stream. What have I been doing lately? For some reason, I don't know why, I went into a game with I started doing a bit of Fallout 4 like a couple of months ago. I don't like that game very much, but I just went into it for some brain dead shooting, which is all it is, and just spent some time.
I bought that game full price and played maybe 45 minutes of it when it came out. And I don't know what it is. I've played so much Fallout New Vegas, but Fallout 4. I don't even think it's a bad game, to be honest. But it's just not my cup of tea.
You can't really say it's a bad game. It's just not what you were expecting with that franchise.
My dad loves that game. He's got hundreds of hours in that game. I think he likes the base building type stuff, because I think if you're into base building type stuff, that's your game. You know what I mean? You love it.
Yeah.
I've been playing a game. I don't know if you've heard of it, but Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, I've heard of it. By the way, thank you, Tom, for the $5 Canadian super chat. I'll get the thanks in as well. And
I've been loving that game.
Yeah, it's just like an RPG, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an RPG, and it's fantastic. It's actually such a great game. It's been it's been a little while since I've picked up a game. I feel like such an old man as well. The way I found the game, I'd never even heard of this until maybe a couple of weeks ago. I found the game through an email advertisement. I got emailed by GOG, and I was like, that's how I was looking through my emails like an old bloke, looking at bills and things. And then I was like, oh, this game looks fascinating. And then I fell for an email advertisement from GOG and I bought it.
Well, we all know, I've heard of Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's widely regarded as a really good game. It's not as if you've fallen for an advert there. It's a good game. Either way you hear about it, it's worth probably picking up.
Well, I had, and I mean it, I'd never heard of it, not even one time. Nothing about it, and so I took a leap of faith, and I thought this game looks cool, and it was a really cool game. It'd actually be quite a good one for you to stream, because it's one of those, you're into your persistent empires and things like that. It's sort of similar, without the multiplayer element. Which I don't know. Maybe,
but I've got so many things to do, so many things on my list. For example, Off-World Trading Company, like you mentioned, we'll play that sometime. Basically, we will do that, because there's a lot of games on my list in that are more relevant to my content anyway, which would probably, allow me to get my viewers in something similar to grand strategy, something, strategic, something economic. and there's that, and there's various other games. Terra Invicta, isn't it? Oh, that's on my list as well. Lots of mods for games and stuff I need to do, but there's so much going on that I've already got. That I mean, we haven't even played OpenTTD for weeks.
No, I miss it. I do actually miss it. Song of Six, that's a good one as well. I played the demo of that game.
I have to be reminded for that. So obviously I just released an OpenTTD video yesterday, and yeah, it's a success. The viewer count is expectedly hasn't quite reached 10k yet, and if you're in the chat right now and you haven't watched it, I'd recommend watching it. Even if you don't know about that game and you're just waiting for a Victoria 2 video, which most of my viewers probably are, go and check it out. I would recommend. Just like I would have said about the Star Wars Empire at War videos, even if it isn't what I normally upload, everyone in the comments is just really positive about it, which has been really nice to see. The people who have watched it and left a comment, there hasn't been anything negative about it. Everyone's really glad with the video, and I'm personally happy with it. I knew it was good.
Oh, it's been a massive ego boost to me. It's nice, you know. You deal with real life, and then you look at the comments. It's like Piechucker's the number one capitalist guy, and it's like, oh, you know, you remember for a second, I am the number one train game player, you know. Yep. And that's something. That's something that counts for something. No, I loved that video, and I think I was joking about it with you, where it's like it was so long ago, and I wonder if you get like this as well, because you edit some of your Victoria 2 campaigns from so long ago that you forget what you've said, and so it's just like another bloke telling jokes, and then, you know, some of them are, you know, you like roll your eyes at, but some of them you're like, that's funny. Like this guy gets me. He's got the same sort of sense of humor as me, and then of course it's me.
Well, I've been editing stuff from a long time. For a while, I've been editing footage that was taken a long time before I edited it, so I've gone through that a lot ever since I started editing stuff. And basically, well, it gets to a point where I don't remember anything that I've said in an entire campaign, but I've gotten so used to editing that I know what I'm probably going to say in any given situation. Oh, I'm being declared on, I know I'll say X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm in a war here, oh, I'll say this and that. I predict everything I'm going to say, because I'm me. It's deterministic. I know what I would say in a situation, so I'm like, oh yeah, I said that.
And that's reassuring, but I like to think of myself as more of a wild card. You know, I don't know. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna say. You know, and the video reflects that. You know, like I the things I talk about, I'm just like, I don't know. That's out the gate. I really didn't expect myself to say that. That's funny.
Yeah, but as for OpenTTD itself, the video I made was edited down from the first 3 entire sessions we had of that. So I've only just kind of realised that it's a massive amount of footage I edited down over the past couple of months. But we haven't actually played a session of OpenTTD for a few weeks. And yeah, we should do. Maybe this weekend if you're up for it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very keen.
And what else was I going to... Oh yeah, I do those streams on Twitch, because I keep streams of games on Twitch and discussion streams on YouTube, which is the nice way that I like to mix it now. So if there will be any more OpenTTD streams, they'll be on Twitch. And also I'm going to edit future OpenTTD videos from the rest of the sessions that we've done. You know, I'm editing through them gradually, but this week I'm prioritising a Victoria 2 video, of course.
Makes sense.
Will is perfectly illustrating that long time since campaign thing, where it was so long ago that the Aragon series happened, I forgot which country I was even playing. Yeah, I said it at the end of the last video in the Aragon Cinematic Universe, that video, or that campaign, was played in the summer of 2021, so 2 years ago, or 1 and 10 months or something like that. And it was just after or right before the announcement stream of Victoria 3 that we covered, which this is going to be reminiscent of, except we're not really hyped for anything, or not looking forward to anything this time.
Oh, that's actually such a sad thing to say, because there is that clip, I think you've even got it as a short or something like that, where you're sort of more skeptical. You know, I'll give you the credit that you were more skeptical and sort of sat back on the Victoria 3 announcement, and then you can hear the clip of me going like, woo, you know, let's go, you know, like really excited. And I mean, yeah, no,
I was always
the years time has marched forward, and you know, we're different men now in this announcement.
Yeah, Yeah, it's grizzled old veterans coming back.
Yeah.
Weechula, thank you very much for the €2. Make a Spud Gun AI that can do voiceover. That is a crazy idea. But no, I will not do that. But it's funny how there's all this AI stuff, and Big Weevil, if anyone's interested, Big Weevil put out the Presidents playing Victoria 2 video. It was kind of obvious when you see the Hearts of Iron 4 one, when you see all sorts of games. Of making a Victoria 2 one was inevitable because it's kind of perfect. The presidents doing Diplo with each other and stuff. But Big Weevil made that one.
The Morrowind ones are outstanding. Did you play Morrowind when you were a kid?
No, that's the thing. I've seen all these Morrowind ones, but I don't know anything. I don't get them.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. But you should. I tell you what, that's another one. That's another one for the long list. Playing Morrowind.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's such a great game.
I might play the open version of it, which is the open source.
Yes.
Because
I think there's Morrowind multiplayer now. Actually, someone in chat can correct.
I'll tell you what, there is Piechucker. There is Skyrim together. We could do a co-op Skyrim at some point.
That could be fantastic. That's a great idea.
Or Morrowind, because we get to play that for the first time, and we can do it co-op.
I've bought
if it works.
Skyrim. I've bought Skyrim 2 or 3 times. I can probably safely say that I don't even have a Steam copy, so I probably effectively don't own Skyrim, even though I pay for it like 2 or 3 times.
I have the normal base game. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There's so many different versions of it. That actually kind of puts me off. Like, what is the latest version? What do I mod on? What mods? It's so complicated now. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, back the Victoria 3 announcement. I was always. I can't say that I was negative about it at the time, particularly because we didn't know anything. But I was always had a level head throughout all that. I will say I was always, well, here it is. We're reacting live to the announcement of Victoria 3, and it could go either way. We just need to see more, and this is it. That sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were sort of scratching your chin, sat back in the chair, eyes squinting, whereas I had eyes wide open, mouth wide open,
Soy sort of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. That's probably not generous of me, but yeah, probably like a light soy sort of thing that was going on. And you can hear it in the clip, but yeah, no, definitely, time has passed and things have changed.
Yeah,
and,
so
I know that the world that I live in is not the world that I thought it was.
if only you knew how bad things really are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made that clip from that stream where it was some little joke that they did, the corporate joke. The joke was that their CEO at the time, Ebba, was talking to a voiceover thing that was just kind of attempting to be funny, and it was like, I agree wholeheartedly with the statement, and I made the comment, oh, that's just what that's just what Paradox content creators sound like. I agree. I completely agree with this message.
I can contractually have to agree with that statement. Yeah, it was
and even that was so what's the word, like prescient foresight as to what would happen with Victoria 3 with all the shilling of that game that happened.
Yeah, and she's gone now.
Yeah, she's gone. She said Assad must go.
Yes. I think it's an old school bloke, the guy who used to be.
Yeah, it's Frederick West.
I did a whole crackpot thing. I can't remember.
It's Frederick Wester. Frederick Wester, the guy who would always he was always their CEO in the past. I can't remember exactly what when or why he resigned, and then he came back. I don't know. Then there was controversial stuff, but I don't care. I don't really know anything about it.
No, I remember I did a bit on one of our Victoria 3 discussion where I sort of said, I can't remember, it was One Proud Bavarian has always been, the CEO, Frederick West or whatever his name is, and he secretly plotted to take back over. I can't remember what happened. But you don't remember that?
No, those were all such fun times when we had One Pound Bavarian and the conspiracies and never any actual malice towards him or any of those people, by the way.
Not at all. But yeah, that was fun. It was good times.
And then, after Victoria 3 came out, I went back to the announcement stream and made another little clip from that about a short I made. There was a bit when Martin was out in his Victorian costume, announcing stuff for the game, he said, of course, the economic simulator that it was always about is back. And he said, oh no, he said the iconic pop system is back, deeper than ever.
Yeah.
And I took that, went back to, because it's really important. It's actually a really good thing to do, to go back to what they promised and see how they delivered on it. Because the first words they uttered about Victoria 3 were the pop system deeper than ever. And then I just showed how the pops are at the state level rather than the province level, which is quite literally, in every sense, less deep.
Yes. By pretty much every metric. Yeah, he's 100% all the love to Martin. But whenever he would put on the Victoria 3 outfit that he had, he always looked in pain. I don't know if we ever spoke about that, but he looked pained every time he was wearing that. Even when he delivered that line about the pop system being, deeper than ever.
I don't know anything, and obviously, yes, nothing bad towards Martin or anything. Just doing his job. We disagree with where he's taking the game and all that, but that's nothing personal.
Just doing his job,
I guess. Just like we're doing a job, or at least But just I guess maybe he got orders from up top. I don't know.
Yeah.
The person who is the brains behind what they've done with, for example, the war system is always an interesting, like wondering who came up with it. Was it Martin? Was it someone else? Was it someone from above them? Who knows? I don't really care, to be honest.
I like to be as juvenile as possible and just think of everything being Martin's fault. Like he's planned. Okay. he's planned everything. You know what I mean? He's thought, like, it's like, obviously there's a lot of planning that goes into these things, and they are trying to make a decent game. But just to reduce it to like, he's in like a sort of like a team huddle, and he's like, I think this is great. I had a dream that this would be really fun, so let's just do that. Yeah, just theories about like, what led to this. Yeah. He's just a total autocrat. He's like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's spend millions of dollars on that. He's just sort of daydreaming, thinking back and stuff.
And of course, there's actually a lot to talk about with Victoria 3, because they're currently doing their open beta patch for patch 1.2. They're taking in feedback, and there's a lot of points that I have about that, but I'm going to keep it kind of separate, because I kind of want to make a follow-up video or a stream about Victoria 3. So there's lots of stuff to talk about with the current Victoria 3, but I'll do that separately. We can just talk about, like, going back to the original announcement and all that is fun. Reminiscing on the journey since then. Yeah. We also had all the dev diary streams and discussions, which were, those evolved out of our first announcement stream coverage.
I think, occasionally when I've been streaming with you, or if I've been doing my own streams, occasionally, you get like a certain number of viewers or something.
By the way, when Piechucker mentioned he does his own streams, you can follow him on Twitch. Post your link.
Not for a long time. Poor old Will, don't get Will going, because we'll start saying stuff, and
you can follow him for when he does stream.
Yeah, for when I do stream, in October, in 7 months' time. But no, what I was saying was, the fun thing, that stream is so memorable to me, because I remember it was a huge number of people, several thousand people, I think, and it was the first time that because I'd be doing my own streams or something, and there'd be like a little bit of like fun, anxiety, excitement, but then seeing like thousands of people, and it was like, oh my god, this is a lot of people,
Yeah.
It was just such an event doing that announcement stream. So even if the game didn't end up being that great, that stream was so much fun to do.
Yeah, and absolutely. Even if I had my doubts about Victoria 3 and ultimately it turned out the way it did, covering it has been a natural thing to do, and fun and enjoyable, and
yes,
growing the channel and all that.
Lots of good banter and stuff. It's been a good time.
This stream is obviously like nowhere near as big as that for this channel, and it's nothing that big, but I'm just doing this because I enjoy it and it's fun and interesting anyway. And there is some stuff to talk about, but mainly regarding Crusader Kings 3 and Europa Universalis 4. And as we get into about 3 minutes before they start their stream, what are we looking for in this stream? Well, we can immediately rule out any new grand strategy games, because they said that. They've just said no new grand strategy games, so we can rule that out. I'm going to lose
Okay.
even more viewers because it's even less interesting now. But like, I'm not saying.
What about City Skylines 2 though?
Well,
It's been a
maybe.
long time that they've been talking
Maybe,
about
but
that.
I'm probably not because they're just going to do more DLC for it. Why make a new game when you can milk it for years?
But yeah, that's a good point. I can't imagine what it could be then.
It's not, well, I can tell it's going to be Europa Universalis 4 DLC and Crusader Kings 3 DLC. I put out a tweet relatively recently. Did you see it, Piechucker, about CK2 and 3?
Repeat that, sorry?
I put out a tweet about CK2 and 3 comparing the amount of content that they had released for it afterwards.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
yeah, it's now about... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that Crusader Kings 2, there's so much content that I turn some of the DLCs off at times, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want to see more of that stuff in my game that I'm about to play. But Crusader Kings 3, it's actually, like, visually, you know, to give it some credit, it's visually a stunning game. It looks great. But there's just not enough content. I think they've got the framework for a really cool game. Just they've never added to it. It's very similar to sort of Bannerlord, Mountain Blade, Bannerlord single player, where it's got, you know, you look at the game, you boot it up, and you're like, this got all the, you know, jigsaw puzzle pieces for like a really awesome game, but you know, it's sort of been slapped with a full release, and there's just not, it's not been put together properly. There's not the depth, you know. With CK2, there's just so much. There's almost too much content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you jump into a game,
and that's one of the things
CK2.
that's put me off from playing CK2 that much because it's overwhelming with stuff. But that's a good thing, I guess. CK3, like you just said, well, we only have about 1 minute till they start, so I need to blurt out something about this quickly. I just played it on Friday and we had a wee campaign, and I didn't. The second session was terrible. Wait, what happened to the timer? Did the timer just go back a minute?
Cheeky bastards.
What? Chat, did you see? Chat, what happened there? What the fuck was that?
I went up 45 seconds.
They just added to it. Oh my god, we're not ready yet. Bump another minute on the timer. Anyway, well, I guess they were giving me more time to make my point about CK3 before they start. Yeah, it's pretty bland. It lacks content. The tweet I did was a direct comparison between the amount of DLC and patches that they had released for CK2 in the same period of time after release, which is about 3 years. CK2 had... I should have gotten this up on the stream, it's too late now. CK2 had like 7 or 8 DLC that came along with patches. And Crusader Kings had 1 DLC, which is Royal Courts, and a bunch of flavour crap. That's it. So today they're announcing a DLC for CK3, and I'm predicting that. It's pretty obvious that is what's happening.
Yeah, I think that's the sad thing, and this is definitely, you know, the problem with Victoria.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but the timer just stopped on 1 minute for like 5 seconds. What is going on with this timer? They can't even do a timer right.
Timer DLC. No,
I'm sorry.
I was saying that it's the same problem with Victoria 3, which is they're a bigger company now, and so they're reaching more people, and a lot of these people haven't played the previous installments of these games. Like most people who have bought Victoria 3 probably haven't played Victoria 2 or CK3 and CK2, and so they don't necessarily know, like, to give respect to Paradox in terms of the games that they make. CK2 is an outstanding game, like really, really great game. And so when you play, like, maybe if I was a person coming into CK3, you know, as a complete person who's, oh my god, this is stressing me out, 9, 8, 7. Anyway, my point is that
Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Oh, they're going straight into a trailer, mate. Hold on. What's this? Okay. Oh, I've actually got to... Wait, hold on, let me turn my music off. Okay. Yeah, you were mid-tangent there, I'm sorry. This is on now, I'll just adjust the volume. The one thing I'll say just briefly on CK3 is that yes, it's bland. You were saying it was a beautiful game, which is true to an extent. The two main things I don't like about how CK3 looks... Oh, this is a live show. Oh. Okay, let's just be quiet.
The Paradox Interactive announcement show. We're going to take you on an epic journey through our game universes. A show packed with the biggest news across the board. A new adventure game from Harebrained Schemes, a new game from Rud Humble and the team at Paradox Tectonic, and something huge from Colossal Order. And news and updates from a bunch
Maybe
of
it is
titles,
City Skylines
Crusader
2.
Kings, Europa Universalis, and Surviving the Aftermath. This show is for all our players out there. It is for you who take the art of city building into perfection, creating the city of your dreams. It is for you who want to see the great empires clash and change the course of history, or maybe just want to stir up some juicy intrigues at a royal wedding. It's for you who can't wait for the next big adventure with mysterious secrets and lethal discoveries. This show is for you.
Okay, it's for us. It's definitely not for me. That's why we're doing this coverage. I'm literally here to give a show for the people this show is not for.
It's for me?
Lineup of games loose, we're gonna unleash another natural force upon you. The CEO of Paradox Interactive.
Oh my
Frederick
god, the
Wester.
CEO! This intro music.
Here we go. One proud Bavarian's about to walk out. Prepare yourself.
No. Very serious.
Are they playing Don't You
First and foremost,
Forget
welcome
About
to you
Me?
all who logged in from across the globe. We're super happy to show this to you today, and I think we've all had a secret at once that we've been dying to tell the world, but we just haven't been able to. Maybe we've been prevented by the rules of the stock exchange, or maybe you've had a project that just
What?
hasn't
The rules of the
reached
stock
stage
exchange?
where you feel comfortable enough to show it to the world. We know exactly what you feel like. But here today, luckily, we have a couple of projects who reached that stage. So we're going to show you a handful of new games. We're going to show you a range of DLCs and updates for our current games. And we're obviously going to update a couple of the games that we've already announced but are yet to be released. But you're not here to hear me talk, obviously. You're here to watch the games. So let's just move on to it. And
Well,
here's
I
the
actually
first-
quite would like to hear the CEO of Paradox talk, to be honest. That's quite interesting. Anyway, what's this? Oh, this is like some indie game thing.
Never have I seen a lock this complex. Only a true master could.
And now, obviously, well, I don't know what this is, so I can talk over it. This isn't a grand strategy game, right? We can talk over it. Very, very interesting. Like, he's wearing the casual CEO garb. He's not wearing a suit. He's wearing trainers and jeans and a shirt. Interesting how people go for the modern, hip CEO look these days.
Yeah, with the frantic eye contact and the mention of the stock market as well. Very, modern.
The stock market joke there was strange. Like he was making a tangent about how people keep secrets, and he said something about the rules of the stock exchange prevent me from telling secrets. What's this?
Yeah.
Like, what's that?
What's the, it's a weird joke.
Lots of solutions out there. Wrestling, punching.
But obviously we're not here to make fun of or insult anyone. We're just kind of talking in general and having fun. Just to
This
get that
isn't
out there.
This isn't Ratatouille. This is Bad Neighbor. You remember that game? Looks
I
like
don't
Bad
know what
Neighbor.
this is. What is it? Sorry, what?
Bad Neighbor. You must remember this. It was like a whole thing for like a couple of years. It's like a horror game where it's procedurally generated and you got to sneak into a guy's house. The Lamplighters League. Read it, style.
Well, there you go. Now that it's actually showing some gameplay, I mean, that looks, something.
Looks
Probably not,
interesting, yeah.
not quite my cup of tea, but, fine. Sure. Good.
Kind of like XCOM or something.
Yeah. With some 1920s explorer vibe. Indiana Jones.
Stockholm, wish we could be with you, but we're here in Seattle.
It does look like Empire of Sin.
Excited to tell you
Yeah.
what we've been working on.
We're Harebrained Schemes. You may know us from our other games, the Shadowrun Trilogy and Battletech. Our new game is called The Lamplighters League and the Tower at the End of the World.
So yeah, Paradox acts as a publisher for many smaller companies, development companies, and this. Sorry for talking over it, but I want to talk because this is our stream. If you want to just hear what they're talking about with this game, you can watch them. They publish loads of indie games and smaller development studios which leads to sort of confusion where people try to fail to define what is a Paradox game. For example, people call Cities Skylines or Prison Architect a Paradox game. They didn't develop those, they just are now the publisher or the owner or whatever. Right. Yes, Piechucker, yes.
Yes, that's true, what you've said.
Oh, you're engrossed in this game, aren't you?
I am.
The depth of choice, right? And it's constantly surprising.
And even when things look really dire, you can like snatch victory from defeat. You can also snatch defeat from victory, but like, you know.
I do think one of my favorite things about the gameplay is that combinatory factor. Is
Combinatory? What kind of word is that?
I don't know what that means. I don't know how you'd even begin to spell that word.
I mean, I can probably spell it, but it's not a combinatory.
I really appreciate the focus on story and the focus on character, and the ability to kind of see these people change and grow over the course of the game.
I like the mix of a problem to solve to keep these characters alive while I grow more attached to them every mission. They're very human.
Relating to a combination or arrangement of different substances or elements. Combinatory.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I mean, it's a word. It's a real word. That would have bamboozled if someone put that on a Scrabble board. I would have been like, no, that's not a word, and then they would have got it in the dictionary and really beaten me there. That sounds like a fucking 50-pointer.
When you play and you try different characters, you know, I've said it before, but it's kind of a new experience every time.
This game actually looks kind of cool, to be honest.
Thanks for watching.
And now back to you in the studio.
Yeah, it's not Paradox developing it, so maybe it is.
Yeah.
Eh? I'm just kidding. Just joking.
The Lamplighters League is a thing, and it's coming out this year.
So the thing about Paradox publishing other companies' games is Paradox applies the DLC model onto other games. For example, Cities Skylines. Okay, what's this?
Festivity and games, but also an occasion to build alliances. Some even bloodier than the martial feats on display. An unhappy princess. Can she find
This isn't Crusader Kings, but it's similar.
One whose virtue and valor can restore glory to her faded.
Nah, it will be Crusader Kings.
This is another like game announcement for something different. This is like different artwork. This is different, surely. And they would have built it up more if it's a CK3 DLC. This is something else. I'm guaranteeing it. I know them. I know Paradox. Fuck! That was different! It had a complete different artwork and everything.
Tours and tournaments.
Now, I'm going to defend myself on this.
Yeah, no, it's spoken for itself. You know.
They didn't build that up at all.
Seems like you're really giving the role players out there what they want.
There's no way that was never not going to be.
Expansion is
Crusader
full
Kings
of
3.
things for the role players. You can take your entourage and
All my credibility is gone. I'm deleting the Victory War System video.
Set off to foreign realms to participate in tournaments, among other things.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. What will you be able to do more exactly?
You will be able to become the grand champion of tournaments by going to various realms and participating. Of course, there's a lot of other things. You can take out some extra taxes from your vassals on a grand tour. You can arrange grand weddings. What do these all have in common?
Add republics to the game.
Intrigue. Well, it wouldn't be Crusader Kings without it, right? How can I use these sort of festivities and events to my advantage?
You can, for example, enact vengeance upon your rivals by inviting them to a feast or a wedding and eliminating their entire family. Or you can just show the world how grand you are and that you are the best at tournaments.
All right. Well, what will happen exactly if I win a tournament?
Well, winning is quite hard, and there are many other reasons to go there, of course. If nothing else, hosting it will make you seem incredibly grand. And then if you manage to win, you will increase your skills and you can impress most people in the world.
All right. But what will we...
I mean, the chat is pretty much summing everything up.
Yeah, useless DLC, $30 for tournaments. They're getting savaged in their own chat.
Their own chat. I'm talking about
Yeah,
my.
their
I'm looking
own
at my
chat.
chat. So they're on. Does their chat really resemble my chat, basically, in what they're saying.
No, there's plenty of hype, but there's like 30% of it is $30 for tournaments, really? You know?
Yeah. My, I don't know. Should we listen to this? Right, let's talk over it.
Let's talk over it. Who really cares? It's just gonna be another bollocks fucking free flavor events.
Yeah, my take on this is that they needed to add the flavor, the content, for example, republics. They needed to add that sort of thing. Different governments. I don't know. And they're going for this new thing. It's just not the direction.
They don't need to add republics. They need to add like 3 times as much game as they've developed, like with this DLC, you know? There's just not, you know, this is a good start, but you need to have like maybe 5 times as much. You know, when you compare it to Crusader Kings 2, and you don't need to have as much content as Crusader Kings 2. You know, that game's been out a long time, but you gotta have half, you know, or even a third. That's not even close. It's like 1/10 the events. I'd wonder about the actual real numbers of events and things, but I wouldn't doubt that it'd be like 1/10.
Yeah, this is just a bit strange, but I don't know. Let's see what they have to say about it a bit more. Alright, what's this? Have they already moved on? What's this? Yeah, what is going on with this stream? First of all, about me not knowing that was going to be CK3. When they did the Victoria 3 announcement stream, they announced several smaller things before they built up to their main announcement. And you'd assume that this CK3 DLC thing would be like a main announcement, so I thought they were going to build up to it with many different things. For example, that XCOM sort of game that we just had. That's why I was taken off guard by that. And then this CK3 thing seemed to have a completely different art style from anything in CK3 I've seen before, like previous stuff. So that's why I was taken off guard by that, if I could just start to claw back my reputation.
What's this?
This is the sort of shit they should have been putting out to build up to the CK3 DLC. That's what it is. These are the indie games they develop and stuff.
Yeah, this looks cool.
Not develop, publish, sorry.
Looks like Planetary Annihilation.
You can't build up to a throwaway DLC. Well, that's what I thought Paradox did. Someone in the chat also says this should have been the CK3 DLC. Yeah.
I read Battler as banter. So new epic banter. You know, it's like Mecha Bellum. That looks interesting.
Sure, yeah, it's fine. Now what's this?
Generous. We're gonna build up goodwill. Oh, I love this. I love these games. I've played these games. I love them.
Maybe this should have been the CK3 DLC.
I'm gonna buy this.
Oh, audience. Woo!
Woo! I'm in there.
Lots of exciting games to look forward to from ARK. Dennis, tell us what just went on the screen there.
So the first game we saw was Across the Obelisk, the new DLC called The Wolf Wars. The second we saw was Mechabellum, and this is our new auto battler with mechs.
The mechs. Yeah.
And the third one we saw was the third installment of Knight and Pen Paper 3.
So I think Paradox Arc is their indie game publishing thing. Don't quote me on that.
This guy seems like some sort of gonzo journalist. Hunter S. Thompson type.
Mechabellum, you'll be able to play on May 11th.
Yeah.
And Knights of Pen and Paper 3, you'll be able
I
to
think
play
the note that
tomorrow.
they've received is
Awesome.
more hands for the stream. Not enough hands last time.
Oh, someone in the chat talking about audio. It's designed so that we are way louder because this is our stream. If you just want to hear what they have to say, you can watch their stream. There you go.
You can shoot your way around the world. We discovered tours and tournaments in Crusader Kings, where the festivities doesn't always pan out the way it was intended for everyone involved. We have a bunch of news and updates for our games, so don't go anywhere. And you remember, we promised you something big from City Skylines, and it's coming soon. But I can see that Fred is back, and I bet it's for an important reason. Over to you, Fred.
Hey, it's CEO Fred.
So we've been asked questions what our studio in Berkeley, Paradox Tectonic, has been up to.
He's been standing there the whole time.
Happy to tell you that it's a new game, but not only that, it's also a new genre to Paradox.
He's been standing there in a dominant corporate pose for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, with the light turned off, just in the shade like Darth Vader.
Not only, we're going to tell you a lot more about this game going forward during the spring, but we're going to start with a little teaser trailer here at the Paradox announcement show, and it starts now.
So this is a new game actually developed by a Paradox studio in a different genre. So this is weird. What's going on here? They're making The Sims?
It's over.
Okay, sure. Go make that.
Live by you. Mark March 20th in your calendar for the announcement
They're so
event. And subscribe to the
talentless,
YouTube channel. You will
with
have
ideas.
this teaser trailer there too for you to analyze and dissect.
Yeah, what's Paradox Tectonic? What have they done before? Does anyone know what games Paradox Tectonic have made, if any? Okay, what's this? Okay, sure, this is EU4 DLC, right? Can I get this prediction right?
Victoria 3 DLC.
No, it's not, because there was war. This is City Skylines 2. Imagine if it is and I got that wrong again. There you go. It's domination. They're finally adding the Call of Duty game type domination to EU4.
With that trailer.
Yeah. Europa Universalis Search and Destroy.
Tell us about this expansion.
Well, this
Team
expansion
Deathmatch.
is the newest what Europa Universalis 4, and it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be deep and global. We are gonna cover Spain, of course.
Oh yeah.
She is literally who?
France, Britain, the Ottomans.
That's her job title.
China, Russia,
Who?
Japan. So those are a little bit of the countries that we wanted to
I'd
change,
challenge,
kind of,
like, can you
make
imagine,
it more global and more fun.
like, gun to your head to, like, a Paradox dev, name every
Well, if you
EU4
think about
DLC,
this,
like, in
these
10
countries are
seconds?
the most played by
Like,
our,
every major
players.
DLC, it's
So
like,
we
I don't think
wanted
I could
to
do it.
like something challenging,
No
something
way.
new, something
Not
fresh
even
for them.
Like 16
So we
DLC or
really wanted to
something.
change
I'm
the
talking
whole
about just
experience,
major
so we kind of
DLC.
feel that we wanted to give some love.
Yeah, thank you for that. But if I'm then replaying one of these great empires, what new things will I be able to discover there?
Well, we are adding new mechanics, new mission trees. So kind of if you want to play with Spain, for instance, you will have a new complete set of missions. We are also adding branching missions, which is extremely fun to play because you kind of decide the faith of your nation. And of course, government reforms, state and privileges, units, of course, music pack, all in. We went all in for this.
You certainly did, but when
More
will
of the
we be
I don't think I heard anything there that can't be modded in.
Just
Right?
wishlist it now.
All right,
I think-
wish list it is.
yeah.
Thank you.
We'll talk after it.
Here's a quick look at more great Paradox games coming out real soon.
I think we have time to talk now.
It's just more of the fucking same.
They have these fillers between the actual big announcements with their indie games.
This art looks really cool.
Although, I mean, it's kind of disproportionate because their indie games developed by other people might actually be the better stuff on this, but...
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know, but... What was that EU4 DLC? What's going on? EU4 has so many DLCs, the game is really bloated. I'm not a big fan of the game myself, but I can understand that a lot of people are, and I respect that.
I used to be.
a lot of the EU4 DLCs have gone down really badly and been a horror show. Some of them have been widely praised. You know.
The art for this game is really cool.
It's a rework of the great powers in EU4. Oh, by the way, I will say overall, the fact that this is a massive Paradox announcement show with their CEO there, and there's nothing about Victoria 3, which is their most recently released game, that is fucking flatlining in the player count on Steam. Like something bad is going on there, I mean, right, surely? The fact that this is Victoria 3 is out by omission.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they surprise us and do announce something with it.
That's a good point.
CK3 and EU4 already kill Victoria 3 in the player counts by like fucking 4 or 5 times the player count each.
I think this is the
Oh wait,
game that I've played.
Oh my god, is this? Oh no, they fucking again! They actually have something for it. Okay, we know about this though. We know this already. This is stuff they've already announced. This is nothing new, chat. Already been there and done this.
Can I get some throwing up emojis in chat?
Officially comes out March 13th. But like I said, I'm going to do something about this separately. We can still talk about it though. Things that should have been in the game announcement. Music selector. Oh my god, game is saved. Exactly. And this is your daily Stellaris update.
Stellaris is good though. It's actually like it's genuinely a pretty decent one.
How we got the stars. Please.
Again? Oh, all right. I'll tell you the story.
We've already seen this trailer too, lol. By the way, we're going to do super chats at the end at this point, okay? We're going to respond to your super chat towards the end of the stream, just to say thank you for them, okay? So this is some Stellaris stuff.
But we soon realized the knowledge came with a price. The visitors came seeking not friends or even allies, but subjects. Their true intentions became clear.
I already streamed Victoria 3 with the new patch beta, by the way. I've played it live already, so absolutely nothing new. I've already talked about that.
Eventually, we reclaimed our home.
This trailer's making me think of that Stellaris multiplayer that we did. That was so much fun.
Certainly the first one. I can't remember. I think we've done 2 Stellaris multiplayers.
No, have we? I remember, I can't remember who it was, but you and me trying to save my home planet from getting blown up right at the end.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We will be prepared.
Maybe I'll make a video out of that one. But what is this though? What new things are in the game? What is it? Come on.
I don't know, yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what's currently in the game, let alone what they're adding to it though. That game has changed all the time. I don't know.
It's like Anna. They bought Anna. Oh no, this is different. Oh,
this is a
Mars or
no, this is just another indie published game thingy of some description.
I suppose people are trying to cash in on The Last of Us being a big thing at the moment, huh?
Surviving the aftermath. Iceflake Studios.
Here to give us more information about Rebirth, the new expansion from Surviving the Aftermath, is Lasse. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is it possible to come out on the other side of the Aftermath?
Yes, and that is precisely the theme and also a new endgame goal for this DLC. We are literally and figuratively taking players to greener pastures this time.
Yeah, and I saw in the trailer there were lots of greenery there. There were farming going on. Tell us a bit about that.
The main new feature here is terraforming. So survivors can finally turn the environment into a clean and lush once again.
Doesn't seem like Paradox survived the aftermath of the victory launch, says someone.
Yeah, and I could see some insect monsters that looked pretty intense. What was going on there?
It's never that easy with this game, is it?
No.
This time we have a new threat
called
the Blight. And that is a disease that spreads throughout the world, and it infects people and animals alike. And also, it turns the environment into a breeding ground for these blighted creatures. So players need to push back, research.
So watching an episode of the UK Officer, do you get that vibe, Spud?
Certainly, they're very nervous.
Never making it easy for us.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
He got through it though. He got through it. Oh, he's got more.
I feel that we're coming sort of full circle here, because the first time I met you, I don't know if you remember, you were wearing a full-on hazmat suit.
I can't forget that.
No, you were announcing the game at the stage at PDXCon, right? And now you're back here with new hope for the aftermath, and you even had a little plant in the trailer.
Yeah, we come a full circle with this DLC, and it is a perfect ending for the first season of Surviving the Aftermath. And I'm really excited about this DLC, so you really should wishlist it now.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't have the game it's for. Sorry, I can't wishlist that. Anyway, sorry.
Birthday coming up, and when we
I had a big
celebrate, we
birthday
like to
coming
throw
up
a
on the
big
3rd of
ass
March,
party.
you know.
And the party gets so much
What are you,
better
27?
when we are
26.
sharing it with millions of
26?
city builders out
I should have
there.
gotten low.
We're talking about
What are you,
City
what are you,
Skylines
24?
birthday
26.
and the
What?
awesome community of cities players around the world.
Oh, it's the cities thing.
have
We got
saved
this is
a birthday
big.
gift just for you. And I'm going to hand it over to Fred and Marina, who are going to deliver it straight to you.
Thank you, Paula. Fred here, and I'm back. And this time, joining me is CEO of Colossal Order, Marina Hallikainen. Welcome.
Two CEOs.
I am so happy to be here.
What are you laughing
We
at?
have been working together for the longest of
Fred
times,
here,
right?
and I'm back.
We have. I still remember that demo you sent over to us in 2009, I think it was. So time flies, huh?
It definitely does. And that demo did set something in motion, right?
It did, for sure. You could say that, yeah. And Cities
What,
is
are they-
28 this Friday,
like,
actually. So
are
happy
they to get
birthday
what?
to
I don't
Cities
know. I don't
Skylines.
know.
And is there
Wait, are
anything
they?
you want to add on top of that?
Absolutely. I think we should have...
Well, I don't know. I thought that was the joke they were referring to there. It started something, you know.
Happy birthday, City
It's like an Apple ad.
Ligayang kaarawan, City Skylines.
No, it's one of these things where they get loads of people to make a little video.
A happy birthday.
Are you
Thanks.
on
Yeah. I like City Skylines, by the way. I haven't played it for a while.
Me
Though.
too. It's a great game.
Thanks again for a super chat there. We will respond and answer to them at the end properly, fully.
I really love this game because every time I play it, I can let my creativity flow.
City Skylines, or as he likes to call it, Ciudades Skylinos.
Because he knows how much it calms me down.
One thing I love about this game is that it finally lets me live out my childhood dreams of being a city planner.
It's been a great 8 years, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next.
So what is it? Is it the sequel or a DLC or something? What could it be? Oh my god. I like this game, like I said.
Spotify Wrapped for City Skylines.
City Skylines Towns update? They're adding towns? They put two CEOs together and they made the most corporate trailer thing you've ever seen.
100,000 assets and mods created
That
for
was
the
an
games
awful
since we
trailer.
started.
Exactly, and think about it, 5.5 million new players last year. That's basically the
The
population of
clapping
Finland.
beat, yeah. Oh,
It's amazing. And
that could have been for Google. It could have been a Google trailer.
Watch ad, yeah.
Could have been an Apple Watch.
This is no exception. Do you have any secrets you want to share today?
Definitely, I have been
Oh,
waiting for
the
a few
gossip.
years to share this secret with all of you. So basically, I think for us, isn't it time to take the next step forward?
Oh, here
I
we go.
most definitely
City
think
Skylines 2.
Okay.
The next step forward. It's got to be somber music.
It's time to start from the beginning. Yet evolve into something new.
Imagine if they add war to City Skylines 2, but not Vic 3.
This city has a story. Envision a world created by you.
Sorry, you say world, but that is just generic American city.
Until Spider-Man came. Feeling like Spider-Man's gonna pop out.
Your chance to shape the future.
They added snow.
To create and inspire. Expand.
Future stuff just reminds me of the dystopian things they're building in real life, like that fucking line in Saudi Arabia. You know that one?
Oh yes, I know that. That is freaky.
City Skylines 2.
Explore and
The line edition. You can build the Saudi Arabian line. But no, you're just building a generic American city.
Someone in the chat, Suicide Net DLC, that's funny.
Oh.
That's really, really fucked up. That's funny.
Oh.
You are the visionary. You are the creator. You make cities.
Okay, it is the sequel. This year. Well. Please clap.
Let's go! They're on their feet. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes. What is this? What are they doing?
I think we're gonna start dancing.
This is so strange. What are they doing? Nothing against them though. Nothing. They can do what they want, but it's just strange. That's all. And that's the whole. That's the whole thing. I think that's it done.
What a fever dream. Am I still sleeping, Spud? Have I
yeah,
woken up and come to stream with you? Or
have I gone back to sleep?
Yeah. Just tossing and turning.
Do they not have anyone to sit down and do some analysis, tell us what's coming up, what's actually in the DLCs, and what's in the game?
I tell you what, though, Knights of Pen and Paper 3, that game looks cool. It might not be your cup of tea, but I love that shit. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead. At least they've given me the perfect background music now. This is their music. It's like bossa nova, and it's gone. Oh well, I don't even. Okay, well, that's that. That's offline. Look, offline. That's like a 35-minute fever dream. What was that? Right, I can just...
now to check how good their marketing is, Spud, repeat every trailer that happened. Try and name as many things sequentially as you can.
Why don't you try and do that while I get some background music on?
Because it's 6:30 in the morning, and I don't even. I'm trying to remember your name.
Oh my god! Just say something. Say something while I get the music.
Okay. No, I think that there was. I think a lot of the independent games that were announced there, not all of them certainly, but some of them had cool art and they looked kind of interesting. I think that, you know, in my opinion at least, the CK3 DLC, it's a bit too little too late for me. But you know, you guys might be really into that game, so that might be really cool for you guys. The thing that I really loved, which is going to be a weird one, is Knights of Pen and Paper 3, because I played the shit of Knights of Pen and Paper 2, because that game's really cool. It's a really, really good game.
CK3 having all of a minute to say we're adding tournaments is depressing. Yeah.
Yes it is.
And worse, I think EU4 is even worse. Like, what are they adding to EU4? I don't know. I didn't get anything from that.
What was the name of the DLC? I'm trying to think.
I've already forgotten.
Yeah, see.
It's Domination, because we made that Call of Duty joke about it.
Yes, yeah.
The thing about it is that I am the perfect lay person for EU4, because I don't know the game that well and I don't know the DLCs. So I'm someone who can say, I don't know anything about what's coming to this DLC beforehand, so I can get an honest reaction to what they told me and learn what's coming based on that trailer, which is I don't know what's coming. If you get the point I'm making, it didn't really say anything. I mean, they did say stuff. They did say afterwards, they're adding new mission trees, they're adding new government types reforms, but all I heard was a bunch of things that you can add in a mod. New missions, surely you can mod that in.
Yeah, they've taken the game in a strange direction where it's like a couple of years ago when I first started playing. I was still in high school when I started playing Europa Universalis, and it was very open and sandboxy and fun, and you could have a ton of fun, doing your own thing. And now it's very much like mission trees, such and such thing, such and such thing. It's very railroaded, and it seems like they're just taking it further in that direction with this DLC.
It's strange because my relationship with EU4 is, well, I played it when it came out, and I've played it sometime since then, on and off. Not so much for a while. I came to not like the game. I played it for a while, so I guess my disliking of that game is based on playing it. It's not like Victoria 3 where I already had lots of prejudgments based on my being a lover of Victoria 2 and all the controversy surrounding that. I became a disliker of EU4 by playing it. So, it did that to me. It had that effect on me. And there's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, every time they added a new DLC or something, the game gets more and more bloated. They add a new feature, they add a new thingy. And then by the time they've added like 6 or 7 DLCs, there's way too much going on. And the game doesn't have any direction or focus. At least in my view,
you're just about bang on in terms of analysis there. That's the exact way I feel, having played a shit ton of EU4. EU4 is my most played game on Steam, which is an embarrassing thing to admit, but there it is. It's out there.
No, that's fine. But I don't hate EU4, and it's not like I have the same opinion on it like I do Victoria 3. It's very different, and EU4 is a game that is still similar to the games that I do enjoy, like Vic 2, and I can play it now and again. I don't hate it. And I really respect people who do have a different view on it from me on that, because it's like a difference in taste slightly. Whereas with Victoria 3, I think it's objectively shit.
I think the game feels so much different. Being along the whole ride and bought a lot of DLC. The game just feels, I can't actually quite put my finger on it and put it, articulate it. But the game EU4 just feels so different now from what it did maybe around Common Sense, which was one of the maybe the 5th or 6th DLC that came out. It's just like playing it just doesn't feel the same. And I don't think it's a me thing. I wonder what chat thinks.
Yeah, there's a lot of different views about EU4, which I can all respect. And one of the big highlighters or the illustrations of my point about EU4 is the big thing that sums it up for me is what they've done and the whole history of the estates system. So the game started, and I bought the game, it came out, there was no estate system, and then some DLC added the estate system. And then later, another DLC or a patch completely reworked the estate system. So that's 3 different games, right? You have one game that doesn't have it, a game that introduces it in one way, and then another game. Like, you've got no idea what is going on. Where is this game going? What's the direction? And they just bloat it. I actually really liked the first estate system, the way it was, and then I didn't like it when they changed it. But that's just,
That's a crazy opinion. The first estate system was horrific.
I liked actually what I liked about it was actually assigning real land to the places, and it wasn't just a fucking.
I think that is cool. If they had implemented it better, it could have worked. You know.
Obviously, it doesn't make sense for small countries that don't have enough land to do that. And there's, you know, when you grow, it's sort of weird how it comes into play. But I guess that's the way I got used to it. And then they add what I don't like, which is the pie chart thing. I don't like that it's just arbitrary. It doesn't have any. It doesn't. The estate's pie chart doesn't tie to anything in your country. It's like an independent thing, just a pie chart, and that's it, and a few percentages and numbers. It doesn't tie anything. Doesn't tie to your country is what I'm trying to say. If I can get that point out. It's like an arbitrary separate pie chart. Whereas with the old system, it was associated with your own land. And someone in the chat says you can just ignore the estates in general. Well, that is so wrong. I don't know where you're coming from with that, but estates is one of the core mechanics of EU4, at least now.
Yeah, they've built, you know, an enormous amount of the game around it now. Estates are vitally important. Like if you watch almost any EU4 guide in single player or in multiplayer, like Absolute Hit BB, for example, the first thing he does in almost any of his videos is like, let's start off by doing our estates. You know, the estates it's huge.
Yeah. Then I don't get good feelings when I think about actually playing EU4 and managing these estates. These are just like balancing some numbers and percentages. There's nothing authentic about it. Nothing like the pop system in Victoria 2, you know.
I think the thing that I like to say something good about EU4. The thing I loved about EU4 was when I first started to really, you know, I was probably maybe like 15, 16, I started to really get into actually doing, you know, my own reading into history and stuff. And so it was fun to play through such a long timeline and see the way things worked out. And I think it was so sandboxy at the time that it allowed you to think, oh, you know, you'd be able to look at it, you know, at a country on the map and then do a bit of reading about it and stuff. And it would just, you know, that was cool, you know.
Yeah.
Learning. I think genuinely it's a decent, or it was at least like a decent tool for your imagination to go off, especially if you're a guy who likes going on a Wikipedia binge or listening to, you know, podcasts or something. You know, you could go like pick a part of the world and just go read about it. So honestly, that was so exciting and cool to me when I was younger. But now it's very railroaded and it's just a very different feeling. I don't think it's necessarily bad.
It's weird trying to put one's finger on what's wrong with EU4, but there is something wrong with it.
There is something missing.
I don't really like the way that it's sort of gotten into a meta where there is one optimal way you need to manage your country to do well, rather than having options. I don't know, I could be wrong about that, but just when I look at an EU4 video and I look at how you play the game, you have to do these things to the estates to get the right bonuses. You have to do this mission. You have to do this if you actually want to do well. You have to do X, Y, Z in this order. It's like, I don't know, it's actually going back to some old strategy game where you have a build order of your buildings. I don't know.
There was a time, and I can sort of describe how it feels quite well, where like when you play France or you play England or something, it really did feel like when you're playing the game, you were playing as that country. But over a certain period of time, it just very much feels like you're playing the blue blob, you know, or you're playing the, you know, it's just in the shape of England, but you know, it's just so much numbers now. It's almost too many mechanics that you're just thinking about the mechanics and you're not thinking about, you know, the story that you're trying to construct here, which is what the original point of the game was creating alternate histories and you know, playing them through the timeline. And that was cool, you know, where it's like, I am the King of England doing this, you know, what if the King of England, you know, did such and such a thing, you know, and it doesn't feel like that anymore when I play the game, and I haven't played it for a little while, but whenever I play it, it's always, you know, I do a lot of achievement hunting, or I did at least, and so it'd be like, oh, let's just see what achievement we can go for or something like that. And it's just lacking that imagination and fun for me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't hate the game, and I might actually pick it up and play it sometime. And there are many amazing mods for it. Someone in the chat has mentioned Anne Benar, which I've been recommended many times to play, and I will at some point, over on my Twitch, obviously. I definitely do want to give it another try, and probably in multiplayer, because in EU4 single player, it's the single player problem of any Paradox game, which is when you get X amount powerful, you just map paint, and there's no real challenge to it after a certain point. But that's not an EU4 specific criticism, that's a single player issue that multiplayer would fix by having enemies to beat. And actually, now that I think about it, another thing I hate about EU4 is multiplayer and war and stuff. Now don't get me wrong, the issue with EU4 war is not the fact that you can micromanage units around, it's some specifics within that I don't like. The fort mechanic, everyone knows and hates that, right? Do you like the fort mechanic in the chat? Do you like getting your movement blocked by forts? Let me know, chat. You want me to do a quick poll? Let me poll the chat. People do fucking like it? It's divisive. I've seen there's a lot of different opinion on that. I think not liking forts is a skill issue. Well, I know how to play around them now. But what I don't like about the EU4 war, especially in multiplayer, is that it just comes down to grinding who's got the bigger army. And maybe the addition of a few numbers like morale. And it's just, I don't know. You fight one big battle, you cycle your units in, then whoever loses that battle retreats miles away, and then you just build up and replenish from your manpower and do it again. There's barely any strategy or actual interesting moves involved in that.
It's about stacking modifiers. Like that is what, in terms of multiplayer and in terms of being successful in single player, it's all about stacking modifiers.
Yeah.
As many as you can, events, everything. That's essentially, you know, with Victoria 2, you know, it is skill, and there's tremendous amount of skill in EU4 multiplayer, but the skill comes from not necessarily, you know, the micromanagement's part of it, but it's about how many modifiers can you stack.
Yeah, that's
which
it.
is not a thing at all. And
yeah,
Victoria 2, there's no Moltke's reforms gives you a very, very slight bonus to your army as Germany, I think, or Prussia.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm happy to be proven wrong or disagreed with about EU4 or anything, because it's not my area of expertise, and I'm sort of, if chat tells me something about EU4, then I'm learning about it, because I don't know the game that well. Not quite well. Actually, I've played it a lot. I mean, I shouldn't downplay how much I know about it, because I have played it a lot. I don't know. But, you know, it's different. When I'm criticising EU4, it's very different from how I feel about Victoria, which is my area. And, you know, I don't have any content on EU4 other than a few streams. It's not my thing. So it's interesting to come at it from a different perspective than the Victoria thingy.
Yeah.
And people do like the fort mechanic in EU4. Perhaps what it is, I remember, I think it was more, I played the game around when they added that or something, and it was more hated at the time because it suddenly drastically changed and people didn't like that. But now, years gone by and people are more used to it, that could be a factor for why people have actually come out in a majority in favour of the fort mechanic there.
Well, just thinking about the game without the fort mechanic, you know, like I think that the fort mechanic, I think almost everyone would agree that the fort mechanic could be better, and it certainly when it first came out was really broken. But the game without the fort mechanic, it was shocking. I mean, it was just, you know, carbon sieging everything all the time. That would be the strategy for everything. Like there would be no.
Okay, actually, I think the problem. No, wait. I think I've fucked up here in terms of how I'm describing what I'm talking about. I meant the mechanic where you can't move past them. Having forts that you siege is not a thing that I have a problem with. Have I miscommunicated that? I meant not being able to move past them, the fort movement blocking in particular.
Yeah, no, I don't love that because it's not historical at all. You know, there's no.
Okay, they did know. That's good.
Yeah, there's no reality for that. Like
Yeah,
if
fort
you look
movement
at,
blocking I don't like.
Yeah, if you look at like the 100 Years' War or something like that, France would just hide in their castles and stuff. If England, wouldn't siege, then it wouldn't, just run around France for a couple of years and then go home.
Well,
I think there's some cool stuff that you could have done with that. But
yeah. And then, well, someone said forts would be useless without the fort movement blocking, but no, because the forts are how you siege land and get control of it and win the war.
Yes.
Should talk to Habibi. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that interested in EU4. Like we know, I'm only talking about it today, and I'm giving you my rather uneducated thoughts on it. So, but sometime if I ever want to get into it, maybe join as multiplayer or something. I don't know. But that guy seems like a great content creator and a nice guy.
I agree. I think he's funny, and I like his videos.
Great.
I haven't watched them in a
Check him
while,
out.
but he does make good videos.
If you want the EU4 version of me, go check him out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Does he do multiplayer videos?
Yeah, he does lots of multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly. So he is.
Should talk to a Roomba, says someone. That's funny.
Well, I don't know anything about him, though. Don't know.
He makes he basically is. He may as well have coded EU4. He's a guy who. I don't know. I haven't watched him a long time, but I watched him years ago.
Someone in the chat said the EU4 talk is painful to listen to. This is because Paradox didn't give us anything to talk about just now.
Yeah, no. Maybe we should move it along. I mean, what else?
We'll talk about CK3 in more depth now.
CK3?
Because, yeah, they instead of announcing the addition of republics or anything like that, or any different ways to play the game, they've added Royal Courts 2.0, which is just a new mechanic and set of things you can do on top of what is already there, rather than instead of moving sideways and adding more breadth to the game, they've added another layer of a thingy you can do, if that makes any sense. And what I was hoping for was, republics is the number one word that came up whenever we were talking about CK3 and what should be added. Some new mechanics for republics and stuff. I mean, my chat is frozen. I'm waiting for my chat to unfreeze again.
Some plagues would be cool, yeah.
And this is just, for me, this is a DLC for CK3 that I'm not going to buy. I'm not interested. But maybe if there's multiplayer going on, I'll see it from that perspective. Just like the Royal Courts, I didn't buy that. I thought the Royal Courts was overpriced.
I didn't buy it either. I ended up buying it for like pennies on a sale, like ages later after it had come out. I can't remember the last time I bought something full price from them. I don't know. I don't understand how the other consumers, because I know that there's an element with Paradox fans where they're paying full price for these DLCs. They're shelling out $30-40 for these DLCs. Because especially when you look like the economics of the world and stuff, like people have less disposable income than in previous years, and so I don't know how things haven't changed, and that maybe they might have. We just don't know about it. But it seems like people are still coming out, lining up in the bread queue to get their $30 DLC. They still seem to be doing very, very well. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. People seem to buy it. Someone says that you've already modded in republics. Yeah, and this is one of the big points about CK3, which is that Paradox have sort of left the content to the modders, really. It's not a bad thing that you create very good mod, integrations and allow for very deep and frequent modding of the game. It's good that they've allowed that and created the framework for it. But they've left their game devoid of a lot of content as a result, or just alongside that. And the mods have filled the void to a very large extent, making huge, amazing things like Elder Kings and a couple other things that I actually want to try out at some point. And they seem to focus their time and effort of CK3 into their cosmetic things, the 3D models. Now, I actually think, and I thought about this when I'm playing that CK3 campaign I just played. What's going on in the chat? I can't see the chat right now.
You got a super chat from Frederick von Stein. Thank you very much. He said, CK3 stress and perk leveling system, W or L? So he's asking.
He just made a quick poll.
Or a fail. Yeah, he's subverted you.
I just wondered. Thank you very much for the $2 because I thought like the stream had gone down for something or something.
No.
Just seeing that coming
No.
because YouTube glitches out my main chat window a lot, but I can see the smaller version on my actual stream preview on OBS, and then I just see a bunch of what could be Fs going in the chat, meaning my stream went down. Like what the fuck? Just so confused. I was talking right. So I believe that 3D models is actually a very natural upgrade and progression in the Crusader Kings franchise. It makes a lot of sense to have that when it's a game based around characters. Being able to see a 3D model of the character is a natural progression from CK2. But it just seems like they've forgotten everything else. It's a very good natural progression. It's a good progression when you add that on top of what is in CK2, the amount of content. But it's not a good progression when you make that instead of what's in CK2, the content.
The thing is with CK2, right? There's too much, and I don't mean that in like a good way. Like there's a lot of filler that you could cut from that, and like you do when you go to play CK2 and you have all the expansions. Like people in chat would agree with me. You turn some of them off. You're like, oh, I'm going to play a game. I'm going to turn these 3 off. Or turn these 2 off. And CK3 by now, somebody was saying it came out 3 years ago, which seems crazy to think 3 years ago, but
yeah.
CK3 with 30% of the content of CK2, and like you're just describing about the models, is an outstanding game. Like that would be outstanding, but it's just not even close to there, and not like, and there's no. I think one of the worst things I can say about the game is that if you play in, Belarus versus you play in England versus you play in Denmark, it's all very, very similar. There's no distinct feeling that you get between these places, and I think it's so disappointing because if you play CK2 and it's, you play in Byzantium versus you play in even just Germany, it's a different feeling,
Absolutely, that's a main problem with the game. The lack of flavour between different areas of the world, different gameplay styles. And it's also half the problem with Victoria 3. Well, not half the problem. I would say 15% of the problem with Victoria 3 is that. There's many other problems with that as well. But Tom in the chat says, I don't like the war system in CK3. Generals used to generate and tactics that mattered in battles. Now it's just a numbers game. And you're absolutely right. I came up with a funny conspiracy idea, which is not serious, in my stream on Friday, which is Paradox are intentionally making their current war systems with stacks worse to justify removing them. It's a wild theory there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the war in CK3.
Crazy.
I can't see it because it's YouTube window glitches. I'm just ad-libbing. So the CK3 war system.
One letter typing your name, and then good old Red A, the mod, is sorting everything out. He's doing a great job.
The CK2 war system is pretty good. It's good. I like it, especially that you can have generals on the flanks and stuff. CK3 war system I don't like, and the AI is absolutely abysmal in CK3. The war system AI, which goes to my point of maybe they're intentionally doing that to justify removing it.
It is terrible, yeah. Completely agree with you.
If you're, the big thing I got from my games on these Fridays was in Crusades, the armies run around and it's literally like watching an ant war. It's like watching ants scurrying around everywhere, like a 500 stack here, 1,000 stack here, running in random directions. It is ridiculous. It's an absolute mess.
I tell you another thing, one of my favorite things about CK2, which this relates in with Victoria 2, is that no shattered retreat. I love the fact that there's no shattered retreat. I think shattered retreat makes sense as a game mechanic, in terms of balance. But there's something cool, in Victoria 2 and in Crusader Kings 2, that if you beat someone, you can, and you've got the speed, you've won that battle. It feels like you've won instead of, let's just come apart for months at a time, because they're multi-provincing. you know, and they can't be attacked for like months, and then they get to. I think it's part of the reason why the wars drag on in CK3 for so long, because you've got people multi-province retreating for months after you've beaten them once, and you're gonna have to beat them at least 3 or 4 times to win. And then it also includes a siege. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just I could go into I could go into more detail on this at some point, but yeah, there's like something wrong with it there. Exactly. And again with the AI, the first way the AI is bad is in big wars like Crusades. Secondly, the AI is bad because your allied armies sometimes follow you and link with you, and sometimes they just don't. And well, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something deep there where it's down to the character who's leading them, and if the character likes you, he'll follow you, or if they don't, but probably not. It's probably just dumb AI. And that fucked me over, because my allies didn't follow me when they should. And the enemy's armies all united together, the same AI. But I'm
still reeling actually. Can we just come back down to earth and think about the what just happened on that stream? That was bizarre. It was so quick in and out. It really was like a fever dream.
Why did they have a random party at the end?
That was strange.
What are they celebrating?
The whole thing was strange, and why did they have a live audience of presumably their own employees?
Yeah, I'm just trying to take that in as well. What was that?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Also, I think that everyone did a great job, and no disrespect to anyone at all.
No personal disrespect at all.
Yeah, at all. But don't you hate it when people pretend like they're thinking and coming up with what they're saying in like some sort of corporate press conference, when they're also at the same time clearly reading off a teleprompter? I always find that to be the most jarring levels of awkward. I think the CEO was a decent talker. There must be a better word.
Well, yeah, but I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, and I would probably be nervous as well. But they were very nervous, and
yes.
But I mean, they got through their words eventually. I don't know. It
was quick too. They had the CEO had his car running in the car park. It was like
I've got to get back to trading our stocks.
Yeah, he's having some stock issues and secrets that he can't tell us about. Chernobyl styles, and you can just hear the car running in the back of the stream, ready to go at a moment's notice. Yeah,
and they have a development studio, a Paradox development studio, making a Sims game, and Ethan is saying in the chat right now that it's a good thing from a business point of view, because EA has a monopoly on that. Now, if someone could please do that to Paradox, that would be great. No, a lot of people are. So I was thinking, why? If Paradox is going into a market, the Sims game market, then why? What reason would anyone have to play the Paradox's version over the Sims? And that's what they need to justify in order to get anywhere with that. I'm sure they'll come with something, but there was nothing in that little trailer that started to show why anyone should get that game over the Sims right now.
It doesn't look. There's nothing particularly extraordinary.
Just look exactly the same.
Yeah, someone in the chat. I'd like to keep this show going, but the stock market won't allow me. That's fine.
What? Yeah, because the stocks would just go down the more they talked.
Yeah, exactly. Just plummeting.
Maybe there should have been this like a certain camera angle where, as Frederick was talking, there was someone like backstage, like the Chinese representative from Tencent looking on menacingly. You better get this all right.
Yeah, like somebody in the audience on their default iPhone stocks app, just watching the Paradox stock plummet.
Or as everyone got up to do the party at the end, one guy remained seated, and it was the Tencent guy. The Chinese Tencent man just sitting sternly looking at them, shaking his head.
There's a great video by The Onion about like live polling of agreement with TV presenters, and like as it goes higher, they just start doing, do you know what I'm talking about? Somebody must have seen this, but I think so. Like Yeah, as the polls go low for approval, they just start doing anything and everything to make it better, which seems to be like some of those jokes that he came up with weren't landing at all. Like, I don't even, like, it's not even like they weren't funny, but like, what was he even trying to say? I can't disclose things because secrets with the.
I have to say that there must have been. Now, obviously we're not talking about anyone personally. I think there were problems with the writing of that whole thing and maybe rehearsing. Maybe they needed to rehearse that more. The actual host of it was completely fine, I think. No,
I agree. I think she did a good job.
The rest seemed a little bit unprepared, maybe, and a little bit like the whole thing was written poorly. Like their lines, because they didn't have organic lines. That was all clearly written.
Somebody said SimCity is a abandoned IP. Maxis Studios, who makes SimCity, was closed down by EA. And so yes, it is effectively an abandoned IP.
City Skylines destroyed SimCity, right?
No, I can't say that because like nobody agrees with me. I can't say what I was going to say. I'll say it. I like SimCity 5 more than I like City Skylines. I played that game. I don't know what it is. It might be just like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I will agree that City Skylines is objectively a better game, but I just like the way SimCity 5 feels more. Even though, yeah, I know it's a terrible opinion to have, but it might be my most controversial game opinion. Actually, is that? Oh, there we go. Somebody agrees with me. The silent man.
You know that image of that American painting of the guy Free Speech standing up giving an opinion against everyone else thing?
Yeah.
That was you.
They hated Piechucker because he spoke the truth, yeah.
But I said it when they were announcing that thing. I like City Skylines, really good game, and I have never streamed it or played it on stream or anything, but I think it's been on my list at some point to maybe do, and I even suggested it as an in-between rehosts game, which would actually fit very well, but I've never done that. So I guess City Skylines 2 is something I can get into and look at and figure out, what are they going to do in this sequel. Now, given that it's now... the first City Skylines was developed completely by this company. I can't remember what they're called. Colossal Order, there you go. Is that it? Is that them? Fact check?
Yes, yeah, you're correct.
Yeah. So they developed that independently with no Paradox there, I believe. It was published. Who published it initially? Because Paradox came in later.
I can imagine it was self-published initially.
Perhaps. Either way, Paradox came in later. So Paradox came in when it had already been made, right? Now that Paradox is involved fully in the making of the next one, I immediately have doubts and have less confidence in it being good.
And they made Paradox, I'm sure they've done great things with the marketing and providing them more resources to make a cooler game, but the DLC for City Skylines, I downloaded it to play it. And there's like every other game, hundreds of dollars of DLC, and it's just, I don't understand how that doesn't have an effect on the financials of it, because I see that and I think, well, this is just unbelievably inaccessible to have the full experience. And when I buy or play a game, I want to have the full experience. I don't mind paying. Like I'm looking to buy Anno 1800 at the moment, and the full game on sale with all the DLC. And there's 4 years of DLC. It's like $90. I don't mind spending $90 to play a game, but $400, you know what I mean? It's like, that's outrageous. Who's paying that?
Exactly the same is all applied to Prison Architect, definitely.
I'm talking about New Zealand dollars as well, so you got to convert that to pounds. 50. So yeah, spending like £180 on, a game. I mean, that just seems ridiculous.
The funny thing about this overall, though, the fact we're doing this Paradox announcement reaction stream, this is just the Paradox stuff. There is actually so much stuff going on outside Paradox that is amazing. For example, OpenVic 2, Grey Eminence. There's so much great stuff coming up. And this is sort of just like a side thing now where we just laugh at Paradox a little bit and then move on to the great things that are coming after.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we got to. I think there seems to be sort of a detachment for not everyone, but like definitely quite a few YouTubers and content creators for Paradox, that there's people sort of getting closer, and then there's quite a few sort of leaving, the orbit. And yeah, I think the strange thing, like I'm interested to see if anybody in chat has something to say about it, or whether you have something to say about it, is that for all our criticisms and everyone else's criticism, there's plenty of critique out there. There doesn't seem to be any impact on the financials, and it doesn't seem to have any impact on overall public opinion of the company and of the games. These games are still doing extremely well. Victoria 3, massive financial success, you know what I mean? And people don't seem overall, like if you're talking to the average bloke on the street, who plays Victoria 3, what am I saying?
Yeah,
But,
this is a much wider thing. There's a lot of things like this just in life as well.
Yeah.
Like, why do people do these things? Yet they still do, and it makes loads of money. Like so many things that are just objectively terrible for you. Certain drinks and stuff, Coca-Cola, is just shit, and it's really bad for you with few benefits. Smoking, yeah, people still do it, and it makes loads and loads of money for people. It happens. And now we have a Paradox as well to add to that.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I don't hate them or have that much against. We're just having fun. But yeah. But it's just, I'm saying the overall way you look at Paradox and think, how are these things financially successful? Well, there's loads of things like that in life. Everyone has things that they don't agree with and dislike, but are still successful anyway. And saying that things are good because they're successful could be true, isn't necessarily true.
There's some interesting dialogue happening in the chat here. Do we have anything else we want to touch on?
Well, the super chats, absolutely, and just anything. There's obviously going to be a lot of interesting discussion now in the chat. Yeah, and as well as this, there's also just in other genres of games and other games that have had similar things. A lot of companies that are still on paper really great and successful, but the people really hate them. I'm not saying the people really hate Paradox or anything. There's companies that are way more hated than Paradox. EA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, but there's like cognitive dissonance here, and this is my point. You're right. Like, there are companies like EA where everyone hates them and they still do very, very well. But no, everybody loves Paradox. We're definitely a vocal, but absolutely the minority of people criticizing these games. Like, the overwhelming majority of people, even talking about Victoria 3, for example, glow about it. It's an amazing game. It was well worth the money, and I'm thoroughly satisfied with that product. And I'm just thinking,
well,
how?
I'm gonna disagree with you slightly there. I think there is a lot more criticism and a lot more open criticism and disliking. Just critique of Paradox and Victoria 3. A large part of the community has, ironically, Stockholm Syndrome, where they don't like the DLC policies, and they'll make fun of the DLC policies and criticize it, but at the end of the day, they still do like Paradox overall. There's a lot of people who are skeptically on board with them. That they don't hate Paradox or dislike them, but they will critique them. And obviously Victoria 3 sort of died on the player count, and a lot more people criticise Victoria 3 as more time passes since its release as well. And a lot of people just moved away from it.
The last real failure I can think of, and last failure for quite a while I can imagine, is Imperator Rome. That was a big boo-boo, but I can't think of anything else being really unpopular or really unsuccessful.
Individual DLCs. Some EU4 DLCs, Leviathan.
Leviathan, yeah. That's a good point. They still buy them though. That's crazy.
Let's have a look at the super chats that we didn't respond to. And Flores Club, thank you for your £2 super chat. Let me click see all here. He said something about Sengoku 2. Now, wouldn't it be... What people actually want is some game like that, right? Sengoku 2, some March of the Eagles 2, I don't know.
Sengoku actually has some really strong ideas. The game, implemented, not amazing, but the actual game has some really strong and interesting ideas. Yeah, it's like some people are saying, I'd actually be down for Sengoku too. I think if that could be a really, really solid game. But then again, why wouldn't you just play Total War Shogun 2, which is just an outstanding game,
I never played Sengoku or anything, so I don't know. But I know that it is a much loved old Paradox title.
It is good. It's got some really interesting ideas.
And Jay said, "Oh wow, a load of shite that should have been in at launch." I think that was a CK3. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I can't remember exactly what that super chat was referring to, but this tournament shit for CK3 shouldn't necessarily have been in at launch. It's just some weird extra thing they're making to it. Company known for PC games sponsored by Xbox. Yeah. That's Paradox, right? Because Paradox has a lot of their games on the Games Pass. Now, funny thing that not a lot of people know or talk about, which is that Victoria 3 was initially advertised and publicised as being on the Games Pass, and then it was pulled a few weeks before launch, or a month or two.
This sounds vaguely familiar. I don't recall. So is Victoria? Wait, you can play Victoria 3 on Xbox?
No, they removed it from the Xbox. They removed it from the.
That was the initial plan, was to play it on Xbox.
No, it's the Games Pass, a way of getting the game.
Okay. Sorry, no, I'm getting you now. Okay.
A way of getting the game where people could have gotten it for less money and it not been a one-time massive payment that Paradox makes millions out of.
Yeah.
There's some obvious financial reasons for them not doing it.
Yeah, it does seem a bit shady.
Whereas if they get the big marketing campaign, get loads of creators to shill the game, get everyone to pre-order it and buy it on launch, it doesn't matter if the game has severe problems. They managed to sell them. They sold their copies.
Yeah, they've made their money for
sure.
The
Games Pass allows people to play it for a very cheap amount, like their $1 first month of Games Pass, and then dump it when they don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, the money spent versus the money made must be outstanding. Who could know, but it must be outrageous.
And then
same with CK3 is another great example. The amount of development that's been done since its release, the money must be pennies compared to the money that they're pulling in.
I don't know. I think CK3 is successful. CK3 has a high player count, a healthy player count, and it mogs Victoria 3's player count, despite the lack of content. Imagine what it could be with content. Well, it does have content in the mods, I should say, actually. It is actually alright. It has content if you include the mods in CK3. Because half of that player count could be Elder Kings.
That's a good point.
And, well, the next super chat is that Redmonton thing. Thank you, Flores Club. How much where is it? It was £2, thank you. And then we had that one from Frederick with the little W or L poll.
Yeah, that was funny.
And that's us up to date on the super chat. So I wonder what now. We're gonna call the stream in a few minutes, but still wondering what was all that, and how did they manage to? They managed to convince me to make a stream covering that, and I'm wondering what the hell was that.
Yeah. Maybe that was the whole thing. They've just played a joke on you.
They caused me to take a couple of L's in my predictions for what was coming up.
Yeah.
Because I guess they ordered this in a completely different way, and I was going off of the Victoria 3 announcement where they built up to it by announcing smaller things, gradually increasing. Like they had their indie games, they had their Prison Architect DLC, then they had a Hoi 4 DLC, and then they had something else, Stellaris thing, and then the big announcement. I guess this is what happens when there is no big announcement.
I tell you what, Spud, think about this for a second. Like we were joking about the CEO standing in the dark for ages, but he would have, because the stream was so short that he would have just been standing in the dark for in front of the live audience for while all the trailers play for a good 10-15 minutes. What a bizarre! Being there would be like as a fly on the wall, like being there in person. I think that'd be a genuinely fascinating place to be.
Oh yeah, City Skylines 2 was the main announcement. I forgot about it.
Yes.
I'm all over the fucking place with this bloody announcement stream. What is going on? They're just
Paradox have bamboozled us.
Just destroying my mind.
Yeah,
I was going to say
discombobulated.
something. Oh yeah, I first saw them starting to hype up this announcement stream, and I first had it in my mind. Oh my god, this is going to be EU5, right? I had that sort of expectation. It's going to be EU5, but then they just outright stated there's no new GSG, no new Grand Strategy game. I was like, oh, it's just DLC then. And then they bamboozled me further with what they actually announced and all that, and the way they ordered it on the stream.
My predictions were pretty decent. I think as soon as the stream started, I said City Skylines 2. Well, maybe, you know.
Well, Halfnaff asks, what did you honestly expect? Initially, EU5. But still before the stream I learned that wasn't the case. I was expecting the DLC. But I was expecting the DLCs to be big announcements where they talked about what's actually in the DLC at length. And do some, you know, explaining of what's actually in them. But they did this whole show just to show trailers. When they could just, you know, release the trailer. Like a trailer. And not do a show in front of a live audience to release a trailer.
Yeah, you always have to think what's the sequel going to bring to, you know, that City Skylines 1, for example, doesn't have. It's like, if it's a graphical improvement, City Skylines 1 still looks really great. You know, like it's a good looking game.
Yeah.
And it's got that, you know, stupid amount of paywall content and all the mods, crazy amounts of mods. So like, what is a sequel really going to bring? Maybe a slight graphical enhancement. You know, I can imagine it's a very difficult game to make a sequel for.
And I'm actually going to pay some attention to the development of that and see what they announce and how it's different from the original game. Ethan makes an interesting point, which was about how the fan base is diverse, and that there's fans of Grand Strategy games, and they're different from fans of the City Skylines crowd, the indie crowd. And there's so many different things, which is kind of weird. You'd think maybe, well, they should have just done something for City Skylines on its own to attract the City Skylines audience. But they're trying to bring a lot of different people together here.
Yes, that's a good point. Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like I've been punched in the face. This was a strange thing to watch, and a hard thing to talk about. I mean, like we were just saying, you know, commenting on what Ethan just said, it's just so all over the place that, you know, it's hard to. And there's very little information as usual for their announcements. There's no real. There's nothing really to comment on apart from, you know, not actual gameplay. That was a cool, you know, FMV that we just watched. You know.
Yeah. They used to be a company that just made Grand Strategy games, and now they're everywhere. They're all over the place. They're now actively developing a Sims game. They're going into a market. They're developing a game that is actively there to compete with a company that has a monopoly on a market. And like I said, can someone do that to them, please?
That would be nice.
But there are people, I've already said this, and we're going to end the stream. Thank you very much for the super chats and the support and the viewership, everyone, and the moderation from the mods. And we're going to do Open TTD this weekend. Do you want to do it on Saturday? Your Sunday morning?
Let's do it on...
I don't have anything, so just pick a day.
Yes, let's do it then. Yeah, we'll do it then. My Sunday morning, that works.
Alright.
Yeah, keen as. Alright, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Spud, and thank you, chat. That was, you know, that was an experience. That was strange to watch that, but yeah, enjoyed that. The party at the end. I mean, like, things are just flashing through my head, you know what I mean? Where it's just like trying to make sense of images that are in my memory now.
I think that's something you actually probably need to watch again. It's like Twin Peaks. Like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yes. Who it's like is it David Cage? Yeah, I think it's David Cage who makes that stuff. It's just like Mulholland Drive or something. But David Lynch, that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, see you guys later.
Thanks so much for being on, Piechucker, especially getting up that early.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. See you later. Okay, chat, thank you again for watching. It was fun. It was a fun experience, whatever it was. The whole thing, getting Piechucker on, it was enjoyable and fun, and I had a great time with you. I enjoy these chatting streams, and I enjoy the ability to just get on a stream and just chat with the chat and with Piechucker. Of course, this is one of our few opportunities to do it, because if I were to just start a random chatting stream, I don't think it would get as many viewers. So to have that level of engagement with a stream like that is good. And I want to do something, like I said, there's a lot coming up. Just basically a normal Victoria 2 video on Friday. I'm also looking to do updates on OpenVic 2. I'm looking to update, do some video or stream about Victoria 3 and where it's currently at with its patch. That was a trailer for that was on this stream. So weird. Yeah, and my chat window is frozen again. Let me just refresh that. Come on, refresh. You need to summon the council again sometime soon. Yes, Ethan, absolutely. I'll do another chatting stream at some point and get more people on as well. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll call it here. This will be publicly available on my main channel. You can watch it again, try and take in what the hell we just saw. See you later, everyone. Bye.